Hi, I'm Jackie Weisenburger, top listing agent with Happel, right here in Quincy, Illinois, and today we need to talk about a new law that is going to impact housing across our state starting June 1st of 2026. It's called the People Over Parking Act, and whether you're a homeowner, investor, landlord, or future buyer, this is something you need to understand because it's going to shape how housing gets built moving forward. So what does this law actually do? In simple terms, it removes the requirement for developers to include a minimum number of parking spaces when they build certain types of housing near public transportation. That means if a property is located within about a half mile of a transit stop or along a major transit corridor, cities can no longer require parking minimums. Builders can still include parking if they want to, but they are no longer forced to. Now, on the surface, that might not sound like a big deal, but it is a major shift in how development has worked for decades. Parking requirements have always been part of zoning laws. Cities controlled how many spaces had to be included for apartments, multifamily properties, and even some commercial buildings. This law takes that decision out of local control in those areas and moves it to a statewide rule. Even home rule communities, which normally have more control over their own zoning decisions, are affected by this. The reasoning behind the law is to reduce building costs and increase housing supply. Parking is expensive to build, especially structured or paved parking. And when you remove that requirement, developers can build more units on the same piece of land. The idea is that this will help address the housing shortage by making it easier and more affordable to develop new properties. But here's where we need to pause and really think about it. Not every community functions the same way. Larger cities with strong public transit systems may benefit from this approach. But in smaller communities or areas where people rely heavily on vehicles, removing parking requirements could create challenges. You could see situations where there are not enough parking spaces for the number of residents, which can affect property usability, neighborhood congestion, and even property values over time. This is also where the conversation about local control comes in. Traditionally, cities and local governments have made zoning decisions based on what works best for their communities. This law limits that ability. Now here's the bigger picture, and this is something I talk about often. We are in a housing shortage. We need more homes. We need more options. We need development to happen. And sometimes that means things are going to change. It means we are going to have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. That phrase is important because growth doesn't happen without change. The key is making sure that as these changes happen, we stay informed, we stay involved, and we understand how these laws impact our local market right here in Quincy. As a full-time real estate broker working in this market every single day, I'm watching these changes closely because they directly affect property values and the future of housing in our area. Whether you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing, this should be on your radar. I'm Jackie Weisenburger with Happel, and I'll continue breaking these topics down so you can stay informed.